Hello, my name is Gavin McCann, and I'm here today to talk about my level design document and the level that I created for this month. So the level story, Damien wakes up in a record shop, and he's pretty unfamiliar with the area. Music reverberates through the entirety of it, and there are multiple areas that can be explored within the zone. He wonders if there's a way out of this realm. The answer could be in the records scattered throughout the shop. There are also some patrons walking around. Maybe they can know where the exit is, but they speak in riddles. Maybe someone knows where the exit truly is. So, my level description: Insomnia is a third person, top down adventure game with a focus on exploration and music. The player will start off at the beginning of the record shop and end by talking to Karma in front of the red door on the second level. They will have three optional objectives to do along the way: collecting records, playing musical instruments, aka the hollow squares, and talking to various NPCs for information on their whereabouts and how to exit. The first path will be through the various aisles of records. This will be on the first floor in the main lobby with various records to collect in the area. The second path is to the right of the main entrance. The player will be able to walk through the lounge on the right side of the building, which has a staircase that will connect to the second floor. The third path will be through the manager's office, which also connects to the second floor of the level. The player will notice musical instruments, aka hollow cubes, upon choosing this path, with others scattered throughout the level. So we're looking at my bubble diagram right now. We have the front of the record shop at the where the player starts. To the left is the manager's office, which leads into a staircase, which leads into a staircase that ends up bringing you to the second floor. This will have an NPC and the first hollow square one of the first hollow squares that you can run into. In the main lobby, there'll be records to collect, which is the second one of the second mechanic, and there will be an NPC that you can speak to within this area too. And to the right hand side, this is the third path, which is a hallway, which is the lounge area, which leads to a staircase and another musical instrument, which leads up to the second floor where Karma is. So this is my top down map. I've added a legend over here so everything can be clearly seen. We have our player start. We have the various records that are scattered throughout the area. The NPCs are also color coded and optional. We have one on the left. There is another one, but he's actually in the center and not on the right hand side. I put a record and a hollow square on the right hand side instead, so the NPC will be dead center for the player. And the aisles of records, we also have Karma and the mysterious red door, which are technically both the gates for the end of the level. Now we look at my paths and objectives. We can see how the red goes to the left, and then we have the blue path, which is the second path, right through the middle, and we have the third path, which curves around the right hallway. So my block mesh, this is my early stage block mesh. I decided to add a little bit too many materials when I went through my first pass, so I decided to end up changing it. So now all of the ground is this gray color that we see in the bottom left, and all of the walls are purple, which we see in the bottom right. I tried to keep it pretty consistent throughout the level. And here's another look at some of the hallways that I have. So here's the lounge area, as we can see, the bottom right picture. The bottom left is going to be the second floor, and where Karma, the NPC, will be. This is the red door that the player must make it to. And here's the left hallway with some giant records and some ambient lighting. So testing notes, a lot of players liked the theme and the design of the level, which was great. The lighting seemed to be one of the hardest things to balance throughout the month, which we can get into shortly. Some playtesters did mention that the staircases needed to be extended, so I had to make sure to fix these midway through the playtesting phase so players wouldn't get stuck in an area that they weren't supposed to get stuck in. A few playtesters said that the level's background music was a little too quirky, and it could have been changed to something a little bit more ambient. Of all the mechanics, the hollow squares seem to be the most popular in terms of data collection. So we look at the data, we can see that a lot of Tester 3 actually managed to get all of the hollow squares within their first playtest, and everyone ended up speaking to Karma, so that we had everyone complete the level. The hollow squares, like I said, they were kind of skewed. The third tester seemed to be the most happy with that mechanic, so they decided to pick them up more often. And the NPC interactions, it seems like every tester only ended up making it around to 1. All right, so now we're going to come into the level. All right, and as you can see, I fixed a little bit of the lighting so we don't have too many issues in the main lobby. Now we can come over, we can collect the record. That's the first mechanic. And as you can see, this is the first path. So, first interaction with our NPC, Crimson Portals Gleams. Threshold to a world unknown. Bold steps, fate redeems. So I decided to have the NPCs speak in haikus because I'm a big fan of poetry, and I thought incorporating that into riddles for the player would be interesting, help breadcrumb them along. So we have our first mechanic, the second mechanic, and now we're at our third, which is the hollow cubes or hollow squares. The player is able to interact with them, and it plays a little sound that corresponds to the instrument, and also destroys itself and after a certain amount of time. So now we have our second NPC that we can speak to. What is sleep to you? Armor for Sleep's album's good. The record's somewhere. So that's a subtle way of breadcrumbing the player into knowing that there are other records that are within the level, as we can see right here. And I really like this hallway. I'm a big fan of making these records add a lot to the level, I would say. And now we finally make it up into the second floor, but we're going to check out the other optional path as well. So come down here. Now we can actually see the break room. And if we take this all the way back, then we'll be able to come back to the start of the level. Here we have another hollow square. That one's a drum kit, which is pretty cool. That was definitely one of my favorite mechanics to make. That was a lot of fun. So now we come up to the second floor, and here's the final hollow cube. And we speak to Karma. So Karma is my name. Why might you ask this question? Your path lies forward. So level is now complete. You can see that we've collected 3 out of 3 hollow squares, 1 out of 2 lost records. We've spoken to both NPCs, and we've spoken to Karma. So we only missed 1 record on this run, which is the one in the left hallway that I accidentally passed by. So that is the end of my level and the end of my presentation. I hope that you enjoyed it, and thank you for your time. Have a good day.